What's up YouTube? How you guys doing today? It's your boy Ice bringing you guys a new kind of video actually. So this is a Valorant video, so this will be my first Valorant video actually on this channel. So kind of what we're going to do for this episode, this gives me a Sage guide for those of you that are kind of new to the game and want to learn some champions. So I'm going to give you a pretty detailed breakdown of Sage and what I've learned from her so far, and how good she is. So she's actually a really good champion, or I should say probably hero, I don't really know, or operator, but she's got quite a well-rounded kit. There's a lot to her kit that's very, very useful if you use it properly. So a few of the things I'm going to be going over is her C, which is her wall. So when you can use her wall, when you should use her wall. Her Q, some of the bounce points on her Q. Some things you can get it to do as well. Your E, and as well as your R, when to use your R, when it's proper to use your R, and how you should know when to use your R. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the her C, which is her wall, right? So Sage is actually more or less, in my opinion, she's kind of a support champion for that. So if you think about League of Legends, there's different roles, you know, so there's like supports and whatnot. So in my opinion, this Sage is definitely the support champion of the game. So let's go ahead and we can press F2 here. We can go ahead and look at her. So she's a sentinel, right? So sentinels are defensive experts who can lock down areas and watch flanks, right? So it's really good for you to have at least one sentinel on your team, as well as like duelists and whatnot. So that's a really good team comp. So you should have typically a sentinel and then maybe two duelists as well as a controller, and then your initiators. That's a really good team comp. So that's typically what the comp's supposed to be. So let's actually go back to that and we'll take a look at some of her abilities here. So her Q is a slow orb. Okay, this slow orb basically, what happens when you throw it, it can bounce off walls until it hits the ground, and it slows enemies with inside of it, and it creates a lingering field that slows players caught inside, as I just explained. So this is very handy when you know that there's a bunch of group enemies there. You can throw this down and slow them down, and then you can peek around the corner and kill them a little bit faster, or allows you to have the upper advantage when killing them. So say you have a team that's rushing, and there's like two of them over there, you could throw this Q in and around the corner, get them slowed, and then just go in and spray them down. Typically that's how I do it anyways, whether that be with SMG, AR, or Shoddy. Healing orb. So healing orb, you can fire with your cross. You can use your right click button to put it onto yourself if you have under the allotted 100 HP, or you can use your left click to put it onto a teammate. So basically what happens is it heals them a little bit over time, towards, I don't know the exact amount, I think it's like 100 HP. I think it heals you back to max 100% of the time. So that's kind of what her E does. I can't really show you that in action in the range, so we'll have to just kind of leave it at that. But her C is a barrier orb. Okay, this barrier orb just fires and places a solid wall. Then you can also rotate it and whatnot. So this is a really straightforward thing. It's really useful for blocking ults as well as stopping flanks if your team's flanking. Your X is a resurrection. Basically what happens is you walk towards your enemy with this out, you click on them, or you fire them, right, aiming at your dead ally to bring them back to life. And it does give them full HP. It doesn't give them full shield, but it does give them full HP. So we're going to lock back into Sage and give you guys a little bit more of a rundown on her kit and her abilities. Some bounce points for her Q. I can't really show you any bounce points right now, but I will for sure show you guys some of those if I can. So first of all, we're gonna go with her Q, right? So her Q, all it does is summons a slow area on the ground. So if I walk into this, I'm gonna get slowed. Okay. Now this could give you an upper hand on an enemy, in many cases. So a lot of the times you're gonna be using this is throwing it around a corner, and then going around and spraying them out. That's 99.9% of the time that you're going to be using this. You could use this as defense to help yourself get away if they're chasing you down, and then you could hide behind something, and when they walk out, just start spraying them out, you know. So what to do if a Sage actually throws these down. So if you're facing a Sage, right, easy way to get over it is just bunny hopping through it. I didn't get a good run at it that time, so it didn't work for me, but a really good way to get through these is just be hopping through. And it hit me, hold on. And I'm through it. So bee hopping through these is a really good way. If you're planning on throwing this up and over a wall, if you want to hit, see there's someone back on that corner, you want to look for something kind of like that. Oh, okay, that one a little too high. So aim just below this, okay? Aim just below this. And it'll bounce down. Okay, so then that's going to cover most of this corner back there and trapping the enemy inside. Another thing you could also do is look for a little peak like this, throw it in, and it'll bounce back. Stay there for a little bit further and it gets that corner a little bit better, right? So those are some bounce points that you can look for. Not on this map, you're never going to really use it on this map because it's a training map, but that's how to look for really good bounce points. So if you want to try to throw it in behind you, so which I don't know why you'd want to do this, but you can just do it like that, or to throw it on you for that matter. You can look for something up there to bounce it off of to throw it behind. If you want to throw it behind, all you have to do is just bounce it off of a wall and it'd go back behind you, like so. So if I wanted to throw it behind, I'd look at this box and it'd go over. So maybe I'm in a situation where I'm between two boxes like this. Then you can look and peek the corner like that. So just by throwing it, oh, too high, sorry. Hit it, and it's gonna land and slow whoever's over there. Say someone's camping on this side of the box, that's how you could do something like that. Now let's talk about the E. So I can't really use the E right now because there's no one in here for me to heal, right? So typically what you should do when you're using your heal, if you have a teammate, right, that's pushing something and they take a shot or two, you can put this heal on them and push the corner with them. So what you could do, a few options realistically would be, say they're pushing into this, right, and they peek this corner, they get shot. You could do this and then pop your bear and then heal, so that way they have time, and then that stops the enemies from rushing in on them because they're low. Your barrier, like I said, is a really good item to use, or a really good ability to use. It can be broke down after a little while, but it can be broke down faster by shooting through it, which you see a lot of teams with compositions running SMGs or LMGs and SMGs. Not too much with ARs, but it does happen. So another thing on Sage is her R, or her X, or her ultimate ability. That's a resurrection. Okay, so some good tips with using her resurrection, right? Since it revives any allies within a certain, or that you click on, you know, that are dead. So really good times to use this are, say you're in a 1v1, right, and you're somewhat low, okay, like maybe 50 HP, 3/4 HP. You could throw down your X to revive a teammate. If you're at the last round, right before buy, or right before round switch, or even end round, try to use it to revive your teammates. Just because, I mean, granted, because you'll run out of it, but having that extra person up could win the round for you. So it's very, very useful in an aspect like that. So right before like round switch and right before the end of the game are two must activate rounds. Like you should activate it then if you have it. If you don't, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. But anyways, on to the next thing. So another spot for her ultimate ability would be when it's a, say, 1v2, you're full HP, then you can bring them in, especially if the round's a needed round to clutch or whatever. Okay, so the next thing that covers her ultimate ability would be the idea that you're in a 1v2 situation, okay, for clutch, and you need to clutch the round. You could use it on someone to get it. So in all the maps there are ult orbs that give you ult charges, right? So say you're in a 1v2 situation, you're 1 or 2 points away from getting your ult. Okay, so what I would do in that situation, right, to be able to charge your ult the rest of the way up, is I would go around and start collecting those orbs. Okay, now you're going to be really careful with this because some people might be waiting in corners, peeking corners and whatnot, so waiting for you to come because they know that your ult's got charges, because you can see ultimate, it'll say like this many out of that many, or like 0 out of 7, 6 out of 7, 5 out of 7. They'll probably be looking to know that you're going to be stacking your ult by getting those orbs, and they'll probably watch those orbs. So something I would definitely be looking out for in using Sage. So her ultimate is really, really useful in situations like that when it's a 1v2, or one of your teammates gets popped really quick. You can throw up your wall. You can throw up your wall to block, and then ult them underneath of it. So another thing that you should avoid is if your teammate's dead, placing your wall on top of their body. Don't do that, and then res them after that, because it'll glitch them either on top or through the other side, and they'll be dead, and you're just wasting your ult at that point. So always place this inside, just to the other side of your dead teammate, because then you're getting the max, or then you're not wasting your ultimate at all. I wouldn't really just use it when you have it, or like when it comes up, like some of the other champions or some of the other operators. I would not just recommend throwing it out there right when you get the ability, because it's not a good idea. Save it for when it's dire, when you actually have to use it, when you don't have another choice on what else to do, or if you are in a 1v2 situation that you need to clutch the round. Those are some of the better options to use it, or if it's the last round prior to the game ending, or round switch. Those are really good times to use your R. Alright, so now we're going to cover her C. Her C is a relatively good ability. It's got a lot of capability. You can do a lot with it. So some things that you should look for when her C, right? So when should you use her C? So when you should use her C are when the enemy team heavily flanks. So when they're flanking a lot, if they have a lot of champions that can, or operators that can flank, you should be placing these things. So say we have our spawn here, right? I know that they can get here from there. So, and we're all kind of like watching this way. So I'll go ahead and I'll throw this down in this doorway. Okay? That stops them from coming in this way. And then I'll look for some sort of peek, maybe like right in here. So then that way they wouldn't be able to see me pass there. And then I can see them peek through there. That's a really good time when to use that. If you hear someone on the other side that they're trying to break through, you could always, if I can aim my Q, always throw your Q through the door, if I can do it. There you go, throw your Q through the door, and slow them down on the other side when your wall's about to expire, so then you can just kind of sit here and mow them down. So you could just head glitch this, and mow them down. That's kind of the same for anything. Alright. So we are actually going to go ahead and hop into a game with Sage, and I can show you guys a little bit on how she works, where her some throw points for her would be that are really good, really useful in certain spots, and yeah,